Okay guys, today we are going to go over test 2. I'm going to go over a few problems in part 1, and whatever I do not cover in part 1, I will finish up in part 2. So let's begin with problem number 1. I want to find the x and y intercepts of the following graph. Anytime you're looking at intercepts, you're looking at where does the line cross the either x or y axis, and in this case we want to know both. We're going to begin by looking at our x-intercepts because that's what our answer choices begin with. You're looking at an x-intercept, you want to know where does the line cross the x-axis. Here is the x-axis. Here is the y. This is where they meet. That is where they cross. That's our intercept. Anytime you're looking at an x-intercept, you automatically know that the y is 0. So we put a 0 for the y. And the value for the x is 10. Right away we can see that our answer is either C or D, so we can cross out A and B since our x-intercepts are right there. And now we're going to look at our y-intercepts. The y-intercept is where does the line cross the y-axis? Here's the y-axis, here's the y, and here's where they cross. Anytime you're looking at a y-intercept, you know that the x is 0. So I'm going to put an x, I'm going to put a 0 where the x value should be. And the y value is 5. So right away, I can see that my answer is D. Let's look at problem number 2. I want to find the x and y intercepts of the following equation. So I'm going to begin by writing the equation underneath. Negative x plus 2y equals 8. And I'm going to first begin by finding my x-intercept because that's what my answer choice has. If I want to find an x value, I'm going to get rid of the y. I have negative x equals 8. And in front of the x, I have an invisible 1. If I want to get rid of that negative 1, I'm going to divide by negative 1. And I end up with x equals negative 8. And it's going to be the value of the x at the x-intercept. So I can go ahead and cross out A and B. And my answer choices now go down to C and D. I'm going to repeat the same process, but this time I'm going to look for the y value. If I want to find a y-intercept, I'm going to get rid of the x. I'm left with 2y equals 8, so I want to get rid of that 2. I get rid of that 2 by dividing by 2, and I end up with y equals 4. So my y-intercept is y equals 4. That is my answer. Number 3, write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, with a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 4. Now here, I'm actually given the equation y equals mx plus b, and I'm also told what my m needs to be. My m needs to be a 1, because m stands for slope, and the b needs to be 4, because b stands for the y-intercept. So my equation should be y equals 1x plus 4. If you have a 1 in front of a variable, you do not necessarily need to write it. So that is the same thing as saying y equals x plus 4, where the x just has an invisible 1 in front of it. And our answer clearly has to be D. Let's look at number 4. Kristen rides her bike to school and has an odometer that measures the distance traveled. She subtracts this distance from the distance to the school and records the distance that remains between her and the school. Find the intercepts. Now again, a very important piece of information is, if you are looking at the x-intercept, you know that the y equals 0. And if you're looking at the y-intercept, you know that x equals 0. So I'm going to first begin by looking at my x-intercept because that's the first answer that's given in my answer choices. A is wrong, C is wrong, and D is wrong. The only answer that makes sense is B. And again, if we're looking at a y-intercept, my x has to be 0. And in this case, I know that when x equals 0, my y is 5,000. So that's why B is the answer. B makes sense. Number 5. Use the intercepts to graph the line described by the equation 3x plus 2y equals 6. So I first need to begin by looking for my intercepts. I start by looking for my intercepts by writing the equation. And if I'm looking for the x-intercept, I'm going to get rid of the y and the number in front of it. So unless it's 3x equals 6, I divide both sides by 3, and I have x equals 2. So right away I can see A could be an answer, C is not an answer, B is not an answer because we don't have an x-intercept of 2, D could be an answer. So either A or B are my answers. Now again, to find the y-intercept, I repeat the same process, but this time I'm going to scratch out the x. To get the y by itself, I divide by 2, and I end up with y equals 3. And so my y-intercept is at 3. A makes sense, and D does not make sense. So our answer clearly has to be A. Number 6, use the slope and y-intercept to graph the equation y equals 3 halves plus 4. Again, the number in front of x is the slope, and the number at the end is the y-intercept. A very important piece of information is slope, which we call m, is 3 over 2, which is the same thing as rise over run. So all of my y-intercepts need to be 4. A does have a y-intercept of 4, that could possibly be an answer. C does not. C is wrong automatically. B has a y-intercept of 4, that's true. And C and D has a y-intercept of 4, so that could be an answer. But looking at my slope, I see that my slope is positive. That means my line needs to be going up. A is going up, B is going down, D is wrong, and D is going up, so D could possibly be an answer. So I narrowed down my search to A and D just by looking at the sign in front of the slope and by looking at the y-intercept. Now to figure out my answer, I need to test out several points and see if my slope makes sense. So in answer choice A, I'm going to begin by selecting this point, and let's see if this makes sense. I need to rest 3 and run 2 according to my slope. Rest 3, run 2. If I rest 3, 1, 2, 3, and I run 2, I don't get to the point that I'm supposed to get to. So A doesn't make sense. A does not have a slope of 3 over 2. If I look at D, I pick a point. To get to the point, I'm starting from the left to the right. To get from the left point to the right point, I have to rest 1, 2, 3, and run to 1, 2, which makes sense. I rose 3 and I ran 2, which is what I want. So my answer has to be B. Number 7. Match the equation with its graph. So again, I'm going to make my life easier by solving for the intercepts. I'm going to begin by writing the equation 2x minus 4y equals 8. I'm going to begin by looking at my x-intercepts I need to get rid of that x. This time, to get the y by itself, I'm going to divide by -4, and I end up with y equals -2. So my y-intercept is at y equals -2. A makes sense, and D does not make sense. So our answer has to be A. Let's do number 8 really fast. Tell whether the slope of a line is positive, negative, 0, or defined. If we're looking at a line that is going up and down, straight up and down like this one, then that slope has to be undefined. And we continue to work on the rest of these problems in part 2. So this is part 1 of test 2. Make sure you watch part 2.